Time court managers, we now pay one full-time court manager, the cost of which is shared by the 3 counties. And the court reporters are paid by the 3 counties, and that is why my reporters in gross dollars are paid less than the reporters in the other courts of Nueces County. So we have saved Nueces County lots of money.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you've saved them a lot of money. Also, let everybody know at this point, that we have to remember to come out and vote. Early voting begins October the 18th to the 29th, and that is exactly what we need for you to do. Because it just makes things life a lot more simpler. You don't have to wait till the last minute. You can come out and vote. Bring your friends. Everybody, I think, believes to...
I want to say hi to all my friends, and I want you all to know that Judge Banales has my vote. And I would like for all of you to come out, vote for him, support him all the way. Judge Banales not only performs his duties diligently, but he's also such a good family man.
Thank you, Ms. Garza.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. And I can say that you are definitely a very fair judge. You rule across the board the same as anybody. One person is the same as anyone. You just follow the law. And I have to say, and I have to make sure that people understand that the number of years Judge Banales has been in that court make a lot of difference on what kind of judge we're going to have in the 105th.
It's important that we have competent, qualified, experienced judges in our court system. When a person becomes a judge, the person is not a Republican judge or a Democrat judge or a Tea Party judge or any other kind of a judge. The judge has to be a person who follows the law. When I first took the oath as judge, I swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Texas and the laws of the state of Texas and of the United States. And I have kept to that oath each and every time that I've had a case before me. And that's so important because we're supposed to decide cases according to the law, regardless of who the person is before us, whether the person is rich or poor or whatever color or gender or business or opportunity the person may have had. I have worked that way. That has been my philosophy, my point of view, my attitude in judging cases. And that is what I wish to continue and contribute to the citizens of this community, for the people of the state of Texas.
Judge, now we're just going to go ahead and not play softball here. It's something that your opponent is going to bring up later on anyway, so we want to go ahead and get to the bottom of this. There's that accident that you had not too long ago.
Well, the accident was simply that, a car accident. It's an event that I wish I could turn back the clock on and make it unhappen, but it happened. And it happened during a day around 2:30, 2:45 on June 5 of 2008. And I was going from one office to the other, from Kingsville to the Corpus Christi office. And what happened apparently, and this is after examinations that I went through with the medical providers, apparently I have sleep apnea. And on the drive to the Corpus Christi office, I fell asleep and lost control of the vehicle and had the impact and unfortunately hit the TxDOT worker. There was a lot of concern, of course, how the accident happened, but at the request of the police authorities, I submitted to every test that they asked me, blood test, urine test, and they checked my vehicle. They did everything that they had to do.
So you were treated just like anybody else would, and
I think I got a little bit more attention from the police authorities because of the position that I hold.
Sure, but it came out just as you cleared just like anybody else would after the test. So yes.
The final result is that the police determined that there was no criminal activity on my part. It was an accident. The medical providers told me that I had no neurological event that caused the accident other than sleep apnea. The mechanical test showed that the car was functioning fine. It was the result of my sleep apnea.
Right, I understand.
And so there was a sort of a judicial review of the investigation, and that review by a judge outside of this area found that there was no misconduct, knowing proper activity by the police authorities, that they did everything that they were supposed to do and determined that there was nothing wrong. It was just an accident, an unfortunate accident.
So Judge, do you know how this person is doing? How is he doing?
Well, I visited with him and we talked about the accident. He's doing well. He's doing much better. He still has his job. We had, the word that comes to mind is reconciliation. We both have accepted the fact that the accident did occur, and we're both at peace with the result now as it is. From the day it happened, I prayed a lot. My family prayed a lot for his rehabilitation and well-being, and we visited.
Thank God he's good, doing better.
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
Appreciate that. On the other subject, do you want to touch on the funding of your office?
Yes.
A little bit?
A county that hosts the presiding judge, such as Nueces County for me, is required by law to provide the presiding judge adequate facilities for the operation of the region office. And that is precisely what Nueces County has done. Now, some have said that my wife, Peggy, who was then a county commissioner, that she moved funds from one account under her direction to fund and pay for the operation and the construction of the 5th Region offices. Well, that is not true. The record is clear, both in the minutes of Commissioners Court and in the videotaped record of the meetings, that each and every time that I appeared before Commissioners Court to talk about the construction of the offices, Judge Lloyd Neal would state at the beginning that Commissioner Peggy Banales has recused herself and will play no part in the discussion of the construction of the 5th Region offices and will not vote on any matter concerning the costs of the 5th Region offices. And that's how we proceeded. I appeared about 4 or 5 times before Commissioners Court, and on each and every meeting, Judge Neal recited essentially those words, stating everybody that Commissioner Peggy Banales was not going to participate in the discussion or vote on the matters. And I think there's one video clip about one of those meetings where my wife is seen stepping down. I have a recollection of that. I don't remember whether that's when I was there that I saw her do it or I saw it in one of the videotaped meetings, but at any rate, she stepped down from the Commissioners Court bench, and then I talked to the county judge and the other commissioners. She did not vote on any of the issues specific to the 5th Region offices. Later on, when all of the budget items were taken care of and all the adjustments were made, then, as the law requires, she cast a vote approving the entire budget as a whole, just as the other commissioners and the county judge. Yes, as a package.
Yeah.
And so yes, she did cast that vote, but she's required to cast a vote in adopting or not adopting the budget, and that's precisely what she did. But the record is clear that she did not vote on the specific items for the construction of the offices when that was occurring.
And that just makes it a lot more easier to understand. A lot of people don't understand the workings or the making of how votes are in commissioners. I want to say that Peggy was one of the best commissioners, and she's one of the Democrats that lost at the last election by only a few
174
votes.
votes. Yeah.
174 votes, and that's why I'm saying that every vote is going to count in this election, every vote. So we need everybody to come out and vote. So, and we need as many Democrats in office as possible. So yeah, you have a fantastic wife and family, just like you said, a very good family man in addition to a very fair judge, and we're so proud of you to have you there on the 105th Judge. And I want you to know that we're going to help you all the way to get reelected because we believe in you. We know that you are there for us and all of us.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
You know, a lot of people think that the judges, all they do is sit in the courtroom and decide cases and make rulings. Well, sometimes we go beyond that. Sometimes there's the opportunity to add to the law, to be creative on some issues. For example, back in 2001, in order to protect the community, I ordered certain sex offenders on probation to put up a sign in front of the residence to tell the community that a sex offender lived there and that they ought to take extra precautionary measures for their children and themselves about going close to that residence. We have created new courts or parts of courts to address particular issues. For example, the drug court that we have that was presided for a long time by Judge Sandra Watts and now by Judge Jose Longoria, and we provide rehabilitative treatment for those persons with a substance abuse condition. We also have a DWI court that addresses those issues that are specific to repeat DWI offenders, and we recently established a new Veterans Court that provides treatment and services for veterans who find themselves in the criminal justice system. Now, there are some exceptions, of course, but for the most part, we will now address veterans who committed an offense that may be related to their combat experience. Now, it has to be related to a combat experience. Just because a person was in the armed services does not mean that the person can go into the Veterans Court. There has to be some relationship to a combat event that caused the veteran to commit an offense, substance abuse or a minor assaultive offense. Those are areas that we can look at in that Veterans Court, and this is going to help a lot of people.
Yes, and Judge, this is called pre-diversion?
Pretrial diversion.
Pretrial diversion courts. And can you tell the audience, because they may not know what that is, you know, when it comes to criminal law and how you're judging and the type of offenses that these different defendants get involved in, I don't think that a lot of people know just exactly what pretrial diversion is.
Sure.
Can you explain that?
Sure. Generally speaking, a pretrial diversion is a means by which a person charged with an offense can avoid going to court, entering a plea of guilty or a plea of no contest, and there being a finding of guilty or a finding that the evidence substantiates the guilt of the individual. It allows the individual to not be required to enter a plea, and it allows that individual that during that pretrial period of not more than 2 years to take programs that will rehabilitate them and give that individual the opportunity to get out of the criminal justice system without any probation or without a finding of guilt. And it restores the individual to a good place in society. And of course, the requirements are strict. We require that there be almost 100% compliance with the programs that are required. For example, if it's drug court, then you stay away from drug use, you don't use drugs anymore, you don't drink. For DWI cases, for the veterans, it's going to mean that the person will probably have to go to substance abuse counseling or alcohol abuse counseling or programs that deter an individual from assaultive behavior, things of that sort.
So it kind of gives them another chance. Or
it's an incentive to get out of the criminal justice system without being found guilty or being placed on probation.
Exactly. And so I think these are good courts to have, especially for the veterans, because we have to remember that they went out and risked their lives for us, and you know they've come back with all kinds of problems, some kind of mental problems. So we have to give them, you know, some kind of, you know, I guess a
measure of understanding.
Yes, definitely a measure of understanding. Okay, we've run out of time now, so I just want to thank you, Anita, for inviting us to your lovely home and sharing this wonderful meal with us and telling us how to make something. I know I'm going to make it. Definitely, I'm going to give it a try, definitely. And also you, Judge, thank you for being here. I want to let you know that we are definitely going to be supporting you. We're going to do everything we can to get you reelected because I believe in you, and I know that Anita does too, and all her friends.
Yes.
Do you want to go ahead and tell them one more time to get out there and vote?
Be sure and get out there and vote for Judge Banales. We have to support him. He is a good man. He will continue to be a good judge. And so I ask for your support. And it's been a pleasure having all of you here. It has been my good experience to go through this, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, and we'll see you again on another edition of La Cocina Política.